Caught you.
You
We're
did.
live. Hey,
Yeah.
welcome to another edition of Modern Day Thrive as George gets settled. Uh, anyway,
I'm
my
trying to
name is
check the
Dean Becker.
audio.
I'm your host, and alongside me is George Weber. How you doing, George?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Are we settled?
I'm
Because
trying to hear if we have sound, and I am not getting anything. So,
you're not getting sound, so
uh,
I'm gonna do a double check here. I'm gonna just hop on and see if I can kind of hear myself pretty
yeah,
much.
I'm connected on here, and
Just
I'm not getting anything.
hang on a second. I will. I'm just gonna hey, I'm hearing myself. So
Interesting.
no, we're fine. We're live. We have
Okay,
sound.
cool. Go for it.
Okay, so pardon that little interruption here. We had to double check, make sure, because there has been a time, there has been a moment
Oh, okay.
when we've gone live and there is no sound out there. So people are we got a couple of viewers already. And you know what? While you're out there, kind of, please, you know what I'm gonna say here.
Like, follow, and
Please,
share.
yeah. Oh, you did it for me, and then I took it
Oh,
away.
sorry.
All right. Like, follow, and share this webcast. It always helps when you participate, not just like, following, and sharing, but thanks for the like out there.
Appreciate the like. Yes.
Um, oh, that's it's our resident New Englander,
Uh
my
oh.
brother. So he's out there already. Welcome to the podcast. We got to get you in the podcast one of these weeks.
Definitely, he's got some crypto in him. So when we start
Yeah.
talking about that,
I know. He's our loyal follower. He's our one loyal follower. Shows up every week, and whether we like it or not, of course, yes. Um, so yes, while we are live and we have sound, or otherwise I would have heard something. Your lips are moving, but I'm not hearing anything.
yeah.
We are definitely pushing something out there. So, how's your week been?
Pretty busy. It's almost Friday. Can't believe it. So it's been kind of flying by. It hasn't really dragged along, but pretty constantly busy at work. So it kind of makes up for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's work coming along?
We got a lot of upgrading going on. I guess we have everyone's basically working from home. So we sent everyone home with the computers, and now they're upgrading to Windows 10. So we got to bring everyone back in again
Right.
to get them to swap out. So and we also deal with around the country. So we ship laptops and bring laptops in. So we're kind of doing that as well. So
That
no
is
rest.
that is the thing, and what I'm not hearing, even though this pandemic we're still in, what I'm not hearing is people going back to
Oh
work,
no,
going back
they keep
into the
extending it.
office,
Yeah, they
and
keep extending it.
everybody's doing their thing, and everywhere I go, I still see empty office complexes.
Oh
I
yeah,
see
yeah.
empty parking lots. I see just blank void business. Uh, Another thing, but
I really think it's going to stay that way. To be honest, I think a lot of companies are going to get comfortable with it, and then there may be, their last message was, well, we may start bringing some people back in based on a circumstance by circumstances basis,
right,
which
right.
kind of meant you're going to still work from home.
You
you
know,
know,
is it cost effective? Maybe it's one of those things that we've spent. Companies just overspent, try and get bigger, 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 and
mm-hmm.
you
Sure.
know, the people that I know that were in call centers or
Mm-hmm.
in the big sea of cubicles.
Oh, they're
um,
expensive.
the people that I know that do that, they're, of course, some love being at home, not having to get fully dressed up every
Sure.
day, go to work, drive in half an hour, 45 minutes to get from A to B. um, it's almost kind of a joke. Yeah, traffic was crazy from the bedroom to the
Yeah.
living room, or the office.
Yeah.
Traffic was crazy. So I think, yeah, I don't know if we're going back. I think a lot of businesses are just liking of course, bigger companies that are spending millions of dollars a year on floors of
If you
office
have building space
buildings.
like that, yeah, you're going to be hating you've been to the call center. They got I think
Yeah,
that costs them $1 million a year.
yeah.
They would probably love to get rid of that. I mean, why?
And all of a sudden, your overhead is like, oh, I have an extra $1 million a year. I
Yeah.
know
So,
firsthand what it's like to spend. I don't know what it's like to spend $1 million a year, but
yeah,
I
right.
know what it's like to spend money that when you stop doing it, you go, wow, I have all this extra money every month. This
Yeah.
is good, So, and I've been that person too for 25 years. I've had a studio space, and yes, I have since gravitated away from all that overhead. Now I want to go back, but
Yeah. Different story.
for other reasons. Not that I
Yeah.
want to spend the money,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but that I want. I'm just pivoting again.
Sure.
So go with be smart about how I think if anything too, it is so complicated in getting in leasing space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Companies that manage space, large amounts of properties, you know they've been driving the price per foot up, for years and
hmm
years and years, and ask them to go the other way because the economy goes the other way.
Yeah. Right.
Well, gas prices go down. Why doesn't
Yeah.
my price per square foot go down with
Yeah.
gas prices? You know, so
I
why
think they
doesn't
feel they
my
can.
or while gas prices are going up, which they're
Yeah.
gonna be,
Sure.
why
Sure.
is my price per square foot
Yeah.
not reflecting that? No, they
Sure.
want more, 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 more. They won't, of course, you have the ability to renegotiate, but you're
Sure.
not on the end because you can't renegotiate with a company when you're all in. When you've got
Yeah.
1,000 cubicles
Yeah.
in a space that it's not just the $1 million a year you've spent on having the space. It's
hmm
equipping it.
Yes.
It's the furniture. I mean, we know that furniture is
Yes.
not cheap.
No, it is not.
Those office chairs that have been pitched,
Yeah.
that
That was a lot.
that
Yeah.
you've pitched, hundreds, maybe dozens, if not hundreds. Those office chairs are probably $300 to $500 a pop,
Yeah. When you buy them new,
and
sure.
and and it's not for the value, for the sole purpose that you just don't want to store it. You don't want to spend the money to store it. You
hmm
can't use it. You don't have the room for it,
Yeah.
so it's cheaper to pitch it, hit the dumpster with it.
Yeah.
So, you know,
And you got to probably
I
pay
don't
someone to
know
do it.
where's the, if our income is going to transition, our crypto is going to transition, it's going to ride a wave up and down.
Sure.
Why doesn't our when we lease a space, why doesn't that transition as well?
You think it's a conspiracy where they all stay on the same page and say, "Hey, as long as we all keep these
Well,
rates, eventually someone's
that's
going to
just
rent
it. Comps. It's
it."
real estate, and even on the rental side, it's comps. It's everyone else is doing it, so I am, and everyone else. But now here it is. Now it's a buyer's market.
I would
Buyer's
think so.
markets are the people that want to get into space.
Yeah.
Okay. When there's millions of square feet out there available to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
um
Got a lot of choices
how
you can make.
you're technically in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed, trying to locate new studio space, one thing I've noticed is, first of all, the industrial side, the warehouse,
Okay.
that's not adjusting at all.
Oh, really?
That's not adjusting at all. If anything, that's going up. Why? Because people are delivering more, meaning they're
Yeah.
using those distribution centers, those, delivery centers, and they're feeding that market. So where
Yeah.
offices are closing, distribution has to still remain. Even if if your company that you work for closed its offices, no more cubicles. Now what, you might need more distribution. You still need distribution. You have product coming in
Yeah.
and going out, and
Yeah.
you're going to need, and you might do more. You might open up
Hmm.
multiple distribution centers just because, well, I'm not spending $1 million a year on a bunch of cubicles but what if I just transition to warehouse/distribution? So
Sure. Sure.
warehouse pricing has not skipped a beat. If anything, gone up during the
Wow.
pandemic because, well, look at Amazon. They
Hmm.
opened up a multi-million square foot facility from my office, and those things are popping up, and that's just Amazon because they
Did
can.
they build it, or was it a building already there? They just took
I
over.
think they built it
Really?
because there's nothing remotely within. I mean, Coca-Cola has a
Uh-huh.
distribution facility within a quarter of a mile of that facility,
Okay.
and
Okay.
they are a fraction of the size. So they're really. I don't think before Amazon came along, I got to compare it to some things like um, there's a furniture, a fairly new furniture outlet in Winter Garden. I see it on the 429
Okay.
that is massive. It's about the same size. And this building, I tell you, when you're getting on the highway driving by it,
Hmm.
it takes a bit to go by it.
And it's a furniture
It's
place.
huge. Yeah, it's a furniture place. I'm trying to think of the name of the furniture place. It's not
One of the
Rooms
big
to
ones.
Go. It's fairly new, like within the last few years.
Okay.
And I'm driving, and it's not the only one. They have got one outside of Tampa, and they have a huge showroom, and I'm trying to think of it. Is it City Furniture?
Could be actually.
I
It
think
could
it
be.
is City Furniture, and
I think a buddy
that's
of
a
mine bought
fairly
some stuff from
new.
them.
It's not a Rooms to Go. It's not a IKEA. Some of the big places,
Yeah, he
but we're
got a good
seeing
deal.
something.
He got
Yeah,
like interest free for like 4 years or something like that. So,
right. So
yeah. So,
it just kind of revolves around the whole. I think it's going to be more warehouse and
hmm,
and distribution than it is going to be call centers, retail, and
yeah.
that on top of
Well, you can't do furniture sales from home because you can't show in the showroom. And call center, you technically can as long as you can route it to someone.
right,
So it's a
and
big difference where you actually need a retail.
yeah, but you can utilize like IKEA as a warehouse.
Oh yeah, yeah.
IKEA is a warehouse. It is a warehouse. It's a 2-story warehouse, but it's fashioned over a warehouse as a retail space, but there's
Yeah,
no, they're not building really offices. They're building a big showroom for all their stuff. So what
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
seeing is that the industrial side, the warehousing, those places of business are actually ramping up. This is not news. I don't think this is,
yeah. Sure.
they're ramping up whilst office floors are emptying out,
Yeah, yeah. I'm seeing that all over the
and
place too. Everywhere I go,
yeah.
it's very spotty.
So that if you're looking for a floor of a building, now you're not going to have trucks driving in and out of it. But if you're looking for a whole floor of a building, I would think you
Yeah,
would have a better. You would be in the buyer's market here. You should be able to
sure.
make a better deal on
You would hope so,
space.
right?
So maybe light manufacturing, maybe whatever. Just you're not moving trucks in and out, but you might
Hmm.
need space, and there
Yeah.
is so much space that's empty right now. So if you're starting your business and you want to ramp it up, here's the problem. I just recently looked at a space at the one of the malls,
Uh huh.
because the mall is, as we've had conversations before,
Hmm.
shopping malls are a dying breed, and I believe they could get
But they have a ton
I
of
don't
real
want to
estate.
say a facelift or a injection of new business where they are
Hmm.
now.
Hmm.
You may not be going to a shopping mall to buy clothes,
Sure.
which is clothes and jewelry. What else is a shopping mall? Clothes, shoes,
Food,
sneakers, jewelry,
sneakers,
accessories. It's all shopping. It's all your dress. I think
frilly
those
stuff.
days, or at least those big brand outlets, that go to a mall and go to a Lane Bryant or a Casual
Yeah,
Male or those staples
Spencer's.
of what we've seen for the last 40 years at the shopping mall.
Yeah,
Now you're going to have Joe's Fashions, who's
yeah.
into hip hop T-shirts, and you're going to
Actually,
have
I
mom
noticed
and
that. I was at
pop.
the mall yesterday, and there were stores similar to that. And I'm going, oh, that's kind of interesting. I'm like, that's different. It almost looked like an old record store, but it.
Yeah, you're going to find. I mean, this one mall that I go to, that I'm looking at space. There's a company in there that you can walk in and like play ping pong. I'm
Oh,
sorry, table
yeah,
tennis.
sure.
Um, so you go to this one store, there's table tennis. You can go in and play a bunch of tables. Another store, there's an MMA facility. Now, what seems to be the latest, greatest thing is the 24-hour fitness centers.
Yeah,
Planet Fitness, big one. That's at a mall. I actually saw it. It's at a mall. It's at a different mall, but there's a
interesting.
Planet Fitness. They put their own outside entrance,
Yeah,
and
so they can let people in. Sure.
so that they can control the 24/7 aspect.
You probably
So
don't even
shop
have access to the mall
so
directly.
shopping malls, they have adjusted to this climate because they're trying to stay alive.
Sure. Yeah. It's a lot of
So
real estate they got
they're
there.
not only and that's a lot of real estate, and the only thing that would kind of come in and preempt that would be a bulldozer and said, "Look, we're
Yeah.
just going to build apartments because we need
Yeah.
more apartments." Of course, that will happen and could and likely
Sure.
will happen,
Sure.
but
Eventually. Yeah.
I think the shopping malls are learning. In fact, the mall the agent that handles this one mall, I mean,
Hmm.
she came in and she understood that it's a buyer's market. So here's what she told me. When I asked her, how much, and she's like, "Well, this one space we're looking like 2,000 a month,
Hmm.
but you're willing to, you're welcome to make an offer."
So it's the cookie.
I'm like, wow, this is not a good negotiating tactic. I
Yeah.
mean, it's
Yeah.
good if you go, we're hurting, so
Hmm.
make us an offer. Be nice,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, because normally it'd be like, well, getting into a shopping mall back in the day, probably 10 years ago, was like,
May have been
yeah,
fine,
it's
right?
anywhere from $40 to $60 a square foot. And
Hmm.
they want, you get a little Claire's boutique or something like that, paying $6,000 a month for almost no space.
Yeah.
And now you can get 5 times the space for 1/5 the cost.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you're welcome to make an offer. So some of the malls I'm looking at, one is actually starting to bounce back. Why? Because they're letting mom and pops in.
Yeah.
Now, mom and pops are coming in. I'm saying, I'm seeing, first of all, I'm seeing J.C. Penney looking right now, looking rough.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are the other ones? Uh,
Well, yeah,
yeah, the other
Macy's.
Macy's
They've even
looking
closed down
rough.
here. They're not over here anymore. And
They're all turning into, at the malls, a lot of them are turning into outlets, which means this is where they keep last year's inventory, and
Yeah.
they're not putting in new stuff. So they're calling it an outlet now, and I dread those days because that is a huge building for a
Hmm.
mall.
Oh yeah.
That's you just can't find somebody to walk in and take that space.
No. Yeah.
Um,
They built
but the
like one of
smaller
those
stores,
venue places over here where they got like all the different, like it's a huge place and you can go in and do like laser tag and
right,
all
yeah,
those other
laser
things.
tag, yeah.
But how do you
You go to a mall
facilitate
now
that?
for an activity.
Yeah,
And of course, the movie theaters are still there, and of course, they would love you to come back.
I don't think they're
But you
going to
go
do
to a
that.
mall for activities, or not just that, nowadays you can go to the mall to renew your driver's license
Oh,
or
yes, yeah,
pay your county taxes for your business or something like that. So
sure.
you're going to they're rethinking, and I think people are rethinking, wow, if I can get into the mall cheap, what can I do? And of
Yeah,
course the food court's starting to bounce back too. Not in all of them, just this
sure,
one.
sure.
And but you're not seeing like the typical food court brands, you know, the
Yeah,
Orange
yeah.
Julius
Yeah.
and the you know the
The
whatever
chicken
the
and rice and
Panda Garden, I think, or Panda,
Panda
what's
Express.
the Panda Express, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You're not seeing those brands. You're seeing independently owned food courts,
There's
which
always
I
at
think
least
is
one
great.
bourbon chicken place, though. Always.
You know, but bourbon chicken, but you know, it's the same food, but
Yeah.
now they're not probably paying the franchise fee, you know, that they'd
Mm.
have to pay on
Oh,
top
yeah,
of
yeah,
that.
yeah. If they were
So
like a big house, yeah, sure.
yeah, you start out with, and if you've ever looked at you know owning a franchise,
Oh, I have.
then then
It's
uh,
pricey.
then yeah, you're paying for that marketing, that you know
Hmm.
that brand association,
The
that
name,
that
the system,
yeah, the
everything.
name, you're paying for the name.
Yeah.
But you know when the stores are starting to whittle, you know, when all the brand names went away from the stores,
Hmm.
you know, well, somebody started coming back, and of course now I can go to the mall. There's chiropractors at the mall.
Yeah,
Why?
yeah.
I don't know, probably because
Keep
um
rent.
the retirees still like to go walk the mall. So
True.
why wouldn't you walk the mall and then, oh, there's a chiropractor. Oh,
Yeah.
there's a little medical group. Oh, there's still hair salons at the
Hmm.
mall.
Hmm.
But now they're mom and pop. No more brand named outlets or you know, brand name stores.
Hmm. Yeah, sure.
So, you know, so I like this because it attracts me, brings me back to the mall. So now I can
Yeah.
go there, and you're finding really interesting, unique, and not just you know, not just you know the same stuff that's been rehashed for decades.
Yeah. That's
Um,
true.
so find a repurpose. This goes along with my repurpose, recycle, reuse. You know,
Absolutely.
theory. If you find a repurpose for something that we don't need to demo the malls. Now, you know, repurpose, recycle. Now this week I went to a different mall.
Hmm.
I didn't think this other mall, I'll call it out the Fashion Square Mall, which is downtown Orlando, just east of downtown.
Okay.
And I thought, you know, they have a movie theater, sure. I walked in, they were hurting.
Oh,
They
yeah.
were hurting, okay? But this particular mall did have a Planet Fitness in it. And they cut
Oh,
right into the building, put their own entrance from the parking lot outside in the back.
yeah.
So that in that one particular store is probably saving that mall because
Yeah.
they're not going to go in and make that kind of investment, you know,
Oh, yeah. If there's enough foot traffic, sure.
without a 10, you know, a
Hmm.
10-year, 20-year lease. They're not
Yeah.
going to go in and spend $1 million redoing that part of the mall without you know, they're not going to do
Yeah.
it on a 2-year lease, and then,
No,
you
wouldn't
know,
make
boom,
sense.
it's gone. Now on the front side of it, where there used to be a Sears,
Hmm.
is this entire builder's square. I'm not sure the brand of the company, but it's this building place where you can go in and, you know, building design, flooring, cabinets. I mean, everything.
Hmm.
It's huge, and then
Okay.
They took over what looked like they took over the Sears.
Yeah, which is
And of
usually
course, they
big
didn't
lots.
really attach themselves within the mall. You couldn't access their stores within the mall. They just kind of ate up the front of the whole property.
Probably
And
gives them
I
better
think
access too, though.
they did a lot. Oh yeah, and then they're visual because they're right on Colonial Drive. You can't not drive by there and go, "Oh wow, I'm redesigning my house. I need to go there." You know,
Yeah.
it's not a Home Depot, it's not a Lowe's, but it's something new that because I rarely drive up and down that little stretch of road because it's traffic is still crazy bad right there.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at it and going, well, all right, they took over a Sears.
Hmm.
and they redesigned it, and it looks crazy. I wish I had taken pictures, but I'm sure I could do a Google Maps and show you
Hmm.
what it is. But I'm afraid to
Yeah.
jump in, you know, and do a share since something's going on with my internet here. I'm trying to just stay alive at the moment.
You're been
So
good so far. No problems now.
yeah, it's ever just when I share, I'm just losing it. So 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 this mall, I'm looking at it and I'm going, well, this is a problem. They're probably maybe at 30% capacity,
Oh wow.
meaning their stores they have probably less than 30%.
Yeah, and that's gotta hurt.
With those two companies plus the movie theater, Planet Fitness, this other builders company, and the movie theater, there's nothing. There's not much anything else. And then their food court. Excuse me. Their food court
Hmm.
gone. No
Oh
food court
wow. Really?
whatsoever.
At
Yeah,
all?
with maybe 10 stores in the mall keeping them alive. Now Disney actually opened up some sort of business building agency,
Okay.
Disney branded this agency that I can't think of the name of it. I think I took a picture of it here. Let me see if I can pull the name of it out.
Which mall was that?
Fashion Square Mall.
Oh yeah, the last time that mall has been
Okay, so it's called the
pretty bad.
National Entrepreneur Center.
Huh.
Okay, National Entrepreneur Disney. It's got Disney's name underneath the signage,
Wonder what
and
they're looking
they
for.
made an entrepreneur center here at the mall. Okay, which is
Interesting.
another company that probably realized that they could get into a space
Hmm.
dirt cheap, keep this property alive, get in for 10-year lease, and Disney's got the money to do it. So
That's true.
um so now all of a sudden, they're breathing life. These just three or four companies breathing life back into the mall. And this mall needs it. Now, I said food court's gone, but
Huh.
there is one look like a coffee shop or ice cream.
Hmm.
No, and noticed because I went there and I saw, wow, no food court, but there's an ice cream stand. Now, of course, I walk up, I'm going to buy an ice cream, and I'm like, oh, you do coffee and you have drinks. And then you look inside and they've kind of cut into the whole side of their thing and they've
Yeah,
got some tables so you can actually go in, and then they have food. They
they
make
probably
sandwiches and
they
whatnot.
probably
It's
do well.
they created a little cafe, and I'm sure they're the one place, and they
Yeah.
probably don't want me to say anything, but the one place that has food in that entire mall, uh, shooting fish in a barrel. But unfortunately, the traffic is
Oh yeah, yeah.
completely sad. And I was
Oh yeah.
there on a Saturday afternoon, like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, where people would go shopping, and that place
You
was
talking about Floor and
a
Decor? Because that's who used to be down there, unless they've
Floor and
changed.
Decor.
Yeah, Floor and Decor, who was in that
Yeah,
mall.
probably.
I think that's who
That's
you're talking. And they're
probably
pretty
it. I
big.
can't.
Yeah,
Yeah, and they took over, like I said, the size of a Sears. They looks like they
yeah,
completely redeveloped what used to be a two-story department store
yeah,
or something like that. They took over the whole front part of the mall.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so,
Floor and Decor.
what am I talking about? Oh yeah, this little cafe. So they pivoted. They said, "Well, we do ice cream,
Yeah, let's just add a couple things.
but maybe we need to, so the people that actually come to work here
Hmm.
might want something else. So maybe we'll make sandwiches. Maybe talk about a
Hey,
pivot. Talk
adding
about a
adding
pivot.
coffee was
I,
right there. That right
right
there.
there.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
that's
I
what.
didn't get past the ice cream, so I got me my little scoop of pistachio, and but talk about a pivot, a massive pivot. They're
Yeah,
like, we're the only food venue in a shopping mall. I mean, granted, it's a 20%
yeah,
capacity, but if there were 20 other food venues, we'd
yeah,
lose, we'd be a smaller percentage of that. So,
yeah, yeah.
and they redeveloped it like a cafe, like you could go in, sit down, have a little meeting. It kind of opens up into the mall. So, I'm going, well, that's an amazing pivot.
Yeah.
You're not just an ice
Absolutely.
cream shop where people walk up and get their scoop of whatever, and you've now just graduated into, well, we've got an espresso machine, we do
Mhm.
coffee, we do, we'll
Pseudo
make
diner.
sandwiches. Now we're a little cafe.
Hmm.
Get a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and talk about a pivot. That is brilliant. They've leaned into it. They said, you know what? People still need to eat. Even the people that are keeping these stores open,
Oh
they
yeah,
still need
sure,
to eat, and they'd
sure.
probably want to rather walk 100 feet than hop in their car, drive down the road,
Especially on that road.
or walk across a hot parking lot in the middle of summer, to go to something that's a quarter mile away. So,
Yeah.
or they'll call Uber. I don't know if Uber would deliver inside a mall, Uber Eats or any of the others.
Probably.
You think they might? Because that involves
I
getting
mean,
out of parking the car,
if you give them a good
walking in.
address, they probably would. Um, Probably dread it though, because sometimes it's a lot. I know the restaurant I work at part time, you have to deliver to the hospital sometimes, and it's always a nightmare because you get there and nobody knows
Yeah.
who you're asking for.
Yeah, because you go into a funny thing. You say that because I was at the ER last night. It wasn't for me. It was a friend,
Oh, bummer.
late night, and yeah. So walked into the ER, and yeah, and I'm like, even talking to them, I was like, is there a place to get at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning? Is there a place to get coffee around here? Asked one of the nurses, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, I can get you a coffee, which means they had a little coffee maker tucked in there around the corner
Yeah.
because that's the late shift, so they gonna have to have they got coffee around.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so wow, they pivoted, and that's what I love. I love stories like that. It's a pivot. It's you 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 build a need instantly. You
Yeah.
build a need, even
Mhm.
even if things are looking dire. You expand and build a need. I'm not saying sink your life's earnings into doing something,
Mm-mm.
but I'm saying, how easy was it for them to put coffee in their ice cream shop
Yeah.
and then put some food items so that
A
people
couple
can get a
sandwiches. Yeah.
sandwich? Yeah.
Sandwiches are popular too. I mean, you have like tuna salad sandwiches, little things like that are easy to put together. Man,
Oh,
they
we know
sell like
what you
crazy.
like to eat. Tuna
I do.
salad. That's
I
the
like
first thing
tuna
out of your
salad.
mouth. You
I
like
like
tuna
tuna
salad.
salad.
I don't know. Opening up a can of tuna I don't know. I'll eat tuna once in a while at the house, once in a great while, but it's not something I'll go to. Anything I have to crack open a tin can, get food out of, it just doesn't. It's not enticing. It's like a step above spam.
Oh
You
no,
know,
no
it's
way.
meat in a can. It's all right. It's a big step up, but
Yeah,
it's along those lines.
I love tuna salad.
Um, what else? Yeah. So yeah, no, but that's you know. So, I like that. So what I'm saying is that everyone needs to take another look at them all. I think the property values. Now, the downside is when I went and asked for all the information, of course, they're
Mhm.
talking to me like I got 6 forms to fill out. I got to talk to, the basic stuff. They want to see an occupational license for that city
Mhm.
that the mall resides in.
Sure.
But, of course, you need to have your liability, errors and omissions, all that kind of stuff, but they're asking for blood. And I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, you're not. Of course, this is all part of the application process.
Sure.
So I have to go through all those hoops to make sure that my business is a recognized business in the state of Florida. But on top of that, then I make my offer,
Mhm.
which is, an interesting thing. You don't have a form for that. You just write them a letter and saying, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I can afford. Would you have me? They
Yeah.
want to see financials and all that. Great,
Yeah.
but it's still kind of part of that school where you kind of go, wow, you really want your 7 pounds of flesh here. You want to
Up front.
make sure you want blood, and you want my kids' blood. You want to know their future earnings. Just but I mean, the business of leasing. You know, I don't know. I think people right now especially understand that, when the economy collapses like it's kind of been,
Hmm.
um, and of course the government banned evictions. I'm not sure if
Yeah,
that held up
I
with
don't think so.
the business evictions.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure if that, extended towards business evictions, but they did it. Of course, they banned any kind of evictions in homes and, residentials,
Hmm.
because people weren't paying their, and of course those
Sure.
companies are going, yeah, we're gonna get,
Yeah, what about me?
you know. So I think you just had to try and work something out, but you know what? Maybe there just has to be, maybe there needs to be a clause. Hey, if another pandemic hits us, and the economy drops, and they 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 shut down. If our city shuts down again, you're they're pretty much putting me out of business. So if I'm at a
Yeah.
mall, and the government shuts down, and I'm not going to be able to pay I'm not collecting any income here,
Yeah.
so at some point, everyone's going to take the hit equally, which means the leasing
Sure.
companies, the owners of the property, blah
Hmm.
blah blah, everything on top, one thing after another. Um yeah, I'm just I think along with this pivot, this repurposing the mall, I think maybe we need to take a harder look at how we lease properties,
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
and add that clause, because hey, we haven't had one of these pandemics in 100 years.
Yeah.
So, are we a little smarter now from that? Yes, I believe we are. Um, but I have no problem going back into a shopping mall, because I'm not using it for shopping. I'm using it for entertainment. We still
Hmm.
like going to the movies, go to play ping pong, go to work out. There's a business right there. I've seen more workout facilities open up in the last year than I've seen any other business.
See, I was at the mall today because I needed to get a gift for someone. Someone I bought it
The
yesterday to pick it up.
Oviedo Mall,
Yeah, they'll be the
Oviedo.
mall, and they have a music place there where they teach, guitar, piano, that kind of stuff.
Oh,
Which
okay.
is something you don't generally see in the mall.
No, not at all.
So yeah, they had, they kind of had a front end, and then I couldn't see behind, so I don't know what all they had in there, but it looked like a regular size store.
Training facilities. That's another thing that's happening at
Yeah.
the malls. I saw CarMax
Oh, really?
a sales training facility at the West Oaks.
Okay.
CarMax.
Okay.
Okay, they've got a lot of property, but they need it off-site. Great, not a problem. Sure, they just don't have. They're rather filled their lot with cars than training facilities, which
Was it like
means
sales training?
sales training. Yeah,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
can't think of anything else. Because training for mechanics, no,
Yeah, I
that's
wouldn't
all they
either.
have is
Yeah.
their employees are pretty much sales and finance. So, yeah, I saw CarMax actually with a sales training facility at the mall.
Wow.
So, I mean, Disney sees this. They opened up entrepreneur facilities,
Yeah.
CarMax, companies that are not skipping a beat. They're pivoting,
Yeah.
and the mall, I think, is a great place. And I think even if we can figure out a way to repurpose. Now those office buildings, of course, those, they might keep them. And of course, if a company closes, like say your company decides they
Hmm.
want out of that space,
Sure.
um, somebody might walk in and say, well, go ahead, leave all the cubicles, and what we'll do is we'll set up another office and make it some type of resource that companies can come in and utilize, like the
Kind of like
e-spaces.
Airbnb.
Airbnb, yeah.
offices. Yeah,
Let's just kind of make it make a fulfillment center for whatever you need, and
that
that's
building could get cut into like 2 and 3, to be honest, very easily.
right, right. You put up a wall. People
Yeah.
they know how to
Put up
put
an
up
entrance on the
walls,
other side, and boom, you got another building now.
So I think it's just this has kind of opened some doors up for a new generation of business people that
Hmm.
want to take their small business and grow. And the best way to grow is usually within a space like that. You
Yeah,
know,
sure.
I am, I am absolutely floored by the. I'll stop talking. I realize I've been talking for 40 minutes, so you just got to shut me the hell up. Um, so I love this new use of mall space, and now I think what's around the corner is the new use of office space.
Oh yeah, sure.
I don't know what it's going to look like. Not completely. I know what
I
the
don't
malls
either,
are
but
looking like.
it's gotta, you would think it's gotta pivot, right?
They're going to pivot or what? The bulldozer
Or
comes, the
or they're
wrecking
just, yeah,
ball.
they're just gonna hold on to the
Because
buildings until they,
nobody's
yeah,
gonna they're gonna take that property and go, and a developer is gonna come in and say we're gonna put condos here,
yeah,
and that's just easy. Developer condos, or
yeah, sure.
Orlando is in dire need of and space, and if they want the
That's what they're
space, they'll
saying,
pay
right?
for it. And a wrecking ball is a hell of a lot cheaper than than you
Then
think.
no rent. Yeah.
Then no rent.
Yeah.
So developers are going to go in, and I'm like, all right, let them in. Great. So
They probably have a timeline on it, and they're going to say, look, if it hasn't made money in 6 months, it's not going to happen. So to recoup the cost, we got to go the other direction.
absolutely. I think this coming week, I'm going to go take a look at a very popular mall, which is there's only two left in Orlando area. It's the Millennium Mall, which is the newest mall we have, and the
Hmm.
Florida Mall, which is a
I'm
mall
curious about
that's
the
been
Florida Mall. That mall is
Florida
huge.
Mall has always done very well because of its
Tourism.
proximity to tourism. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the closest mall to the tourist sector of Orlando, so they've always been over capacity. They've always had traffic. So I want to check them out, and I think next time I'm just going to bring the camera and give a little tour of what the mall looks like these days. So that's my goal for the next week. All
Maybe
right,
we
I'm going
can
to
get out
shut
on
the.
a day that I can go. Maybe I can go with you.
All right, all
We
right.
can go in the evening or
Looks like we
something.
could. Well, yeah, we only have a limited time because a lot of the malls are on light duty, like 7 o'clock. They're done.
Yeah,
Again,
the
don't
place
know
I
about
had to go today was closing at 7. And the mall wasn't, but
seven
they were.
o'clock.
So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
always do a Saturday
Oviedo's got
afternoon,
some
maybe.
interesting. Well, you said you're at Oviedo. It's got some interesting stores there too, and a lot of small mom and pops, less
So yeah,
brand.
the store I went to, because I was buying a gift for my daughter, and basically we took a picture of her cats, and they engraved it inside a crystal.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it was real. It's really neat, because they take
Oh,
it, they
nice.
digitize it, and I don't know how they do it, because I'm like looking on the inside of this thing and going, "Wow, the picture's literally. I mean, the engravement's literally in the middle of this crystal.
Okay.
I don't
So
know how they do it, but it was really neat."
speaking of your daughter, how's the NFT on that
I was
one?
messing with it before because I wanted to try to get it up, and I'm on my work computer, and it blocked me from getting to half of what I needed. So I'm like,
Oh,
really?
so you kind of
So I didn't get it done. I know everyone's going to yell at me. You probably
got a
should be
little
yelling at me
internet
now because
blockade going on.
yeah, it was more software blockade because it wouldn't let me put that
Yeah.
on here. But so I'm still working on that. I really want to get that done. So again, I'll shoot for next week. But
Okay. Not a
I
problem.
will do my best. I
So
really thought I was going to have it done, but
tell me, in the time I haven't squashed, we've got
I got
about 15 minutes.
we got.
Tell me something about what you've been working with.
So yeah, I was actually going to bring up a quick share here.
Yeah.
Show you
Go
a
ahead.
site that I've
Share
been
away.
working on here. Let me.
Just go ahead and put the screen. I'll tell you if it's, I'll tell you, describe what I'm looking at so you kind of get an idea. I know you're probably single screen.
I have to.
Okay.
All right. So
Easily supercharge your savings. So what am I looking at here then?
So this is they invest in real estate,
right.
but it's you being able to put money in to earn interest.
This isn't
off
that
of it.
place in Vegas that you've
No,
invested
that is
this
not. That's
Yeah.
this one. You can start with $10. They don't have a minimum.
All right. I think I
So,
remember you were talking
and
about
the nice
that.
thing, I've kind of built it up to around $370 because I've been putting in $10 here, $10 there,
Right.
and then I finally got my new business account over my threshold, so I won't get charged any fees. I said, all right, any amount that's over that threshold,
Right.
I'm gonna set it over here because I'm making 5.5% versus
I see. That's
next to
obviously
nothing.
right there. 5.5% annualized.
And
So
every
how does it
7
pay you?
days.
Every
So
seven?
like I can watch it. Unfortunately, I can't show you here but they have an app you put on your phone.
Okay.
And then it shows you. I mean, literally, I can pull it up and just watch it. It's kind of like watching the U.S. national debt clock. It's always the numbers are turning all the time, and obviously in the beginning the numbers turn slow.
Right.
Once you start getting the number up bigger and bigger, then they turn more. But so tomorrow, at the end of the day, it'll calculate everything that I've earned through the week, and it'll wrap it into my numbers, and then the numbers increase for the following week.
Right. Okay.
They're still small right now,
So
but they're growing.
5.5%, and you can get in for $10.
Yeah, I mean,
Is the
if
company?
you were going to put $10
did you
there,
vet? How did you vet this company? What did you do?
I did some research, and I mean, they're investing in real estate, so I figured, all right, they have assets. They're being backed by some assets.
Okay.
And they are continually adding resources.
Okay.
And this is for me. It's still short term. My goal is I have some bigger investments I want to do. Some of them are $500. Some of them are $1,000. So I'm going to ride this till it gets in that range, and then I'll probably pull it out temporarily to invest in something else, and then I'll start over.
There's nothing wrong with collecting 5%.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
If you feel like you've actually, and what does that 5% do? Is it paying out, or is it adding to its net?
Rebalancing in.
So you're compounding your balance basically with the interest. Okay.
Correct. It says potential.
Probably not saying that right, but yeah.
It says potential weekly payouts. So far, I've been getting weekly payouts. So I mean, every Friday, and it has two different things. It gives you a bonus value, and the numbers are a little weird. I have trouble following them. I'm like watching a number, and then all of a sudden it changes, and I'm like, so I get confused.
Does it just take a standard bank account transfer, or
you just tie your bank to it.
Tie your bank to it and
just put it over there, and the nice thing about it is if I say I'm going to add $10 today, $10 that you're telling them you're going to give them, even though they probably won't get that money for probably 7 days.
Really?
Starts earning interest the very second you tell it you want to earn.
Huh.
Okay. Yeah, so that's kind of nice. So obviously you need to keep track of, hey, I just took $10 out that won't subtract today, so you don't spend it somewhere else.
Wow. Because there's somebody that's handling that transaction physically, right? I mean, somebody's going in and going.
Well, it's a system generated thing. It's basically putting you into a queue and I don't know. I know I had to remember back in the day we used to do worthy bonds. Like for some reason or another they can't seem to get licensed in Florida for some reason.
Right.
So I kind of gave up on them.
You stopped talking about them, yeah.
Well, yeah, I gave up because every time I talk to them, they give me the same sad story. Well,
not worthy in Florida.
Yeah, and it's a Florida company, so I'm just like, and Julie still has money in one of their things because if you have money in there, it's fine. It's the new investments they don't have. So they don't have new bonds that I can buy. So this is kind of a good alternative to that. And again, if the nice thing about it is it's not tied directly to money you can spend.
Right.
So if you're just trying to save a little bit of money, throwing in 10 here, 20 there, it's not going to kill you on the left side. And you can't just go, I changed my mind and take your debit card out and swipe it, and then the next thing you've lost that money. So it's kind of a good way to give yourself a saving cushion. You know, you can call it whatever you want. You can call it your emergency fund. You can call it your, I call it transitional.
How easy it is to pull your money back out?
About 7 days. About 7 days. So not bad.
Once you've decided, then those wheels go in motion, and then you get your money in a week.
Yeah, it's about 7 days. And that's not
probably
bad.
by the next payout. I would think, or
Yeah,
7
something like
days
that. Yeah.
after plus the next payout.
I haven't
something like that.
done it yet, but they pretty well state that it,
And
in their documentation, about 7 days.
and direct deposit back to your account. Is that
Yeah,
what it
just
does?
go right back to the account you pulled it out of, or
So
I
you can
guess if
get
you have
in, get
secondary
out, you know. Now, are you out? Is there any kind of
fees.
yeah, let's
Don't
start
believe
with
so.
that.
Don't
No,
believe
no
there's any
fees. They're
fees
just
on
using
either
you.
direction.
They're just taking your money and using you as the bank, basically.
Pretty much, it's the same thing I'm doing in Vegas. It's just I don't have to, put in 10 grand at a swap.
Yeah. Well,
So that's the kind of the nice thing about it is I don't have to put so
well, the
much money
upside isn't
into
that
it.
Vegas one 10% return.
It's about 10% return,
Yeah.
10 to 12. It varies, and actually
Yeah.
it looks like the last ones that you've been sending me have been around 10. So it looks like that's come down a little bit.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
But again, it's 10 grand that you got invested, and generally between 9 and 18 months. So you're getting
All right.
that interest through
So
that
my
time frame.
brother finally woke up 10
Uh-oh.
minutes before the hour. Finally woke up and said, check out crypto.com. They pay you interest on crypto held on their site.
So I have a crypto.com account. I started with them probably before all these other ones, and I was
Okay.
excited. I was excited about them in the beginning.
Right.
I do believe it's in China. I believe the site.
No.
Well,
Okay.
I do believe that's where the
Site's
site
in
is.
China.
I do believe so.
China and
But
Russia are going to war,
yeah.
so I'm not sure I'd go to that if that site's in China. I'm not sure I'd consider linking my bank account to a website in China right now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You might not want to. You may want to rethink wherever what your standing is right there.
Yeah.
Sanctions and all that we're going through. You just never know what's going to get kind of, and China.
I have coins locked up in their site. I just can't do anything with them because I was looking at them initially because they were the only ones that were offering a crypto card. So that's really what I wanted. I wanted a crypto card. Now they're a dime a dozen. You can get them all over the place.
I caught on the news. There's this couple. I can't think of their names, but they were just convicted. I think 20 years.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Of because they were mining Bitcoin and doing some. I don't know what they were doing. It doesn't say they were stealing Bitcoin, but I don't think they were stealing it from people. I think maybe they were stealing it from maybe accounts that were just I don't know exactly what was going on. And then I heard that the government seized the Bitcoin and now they're auctioning it off.
I did not hear that.
That was part of the news. That's what I heard. It was like, okay, so this couple gets pinched, brilliant couple from what I'm hearing, what the news said. Brilliant couple gets pinched for mining stolen Bitcoin. It would have to be, obviously.
I didn't read the article, so I can't. Yeah. But I heard about it, but I didn't read enough about it to be.
And the government seized billions of dollars in Bitcoin, and now they're auctioning it off. Oh, well, just put it in the market. Now the government owns it, so seized property. You might as well just put it back into the marketplace. And
if nobody buys it, they may.
Now it's worth money, and go ahead and cash out. Cash out. Of course, then the government's going to have to pay for that. For that profit, because now they've it's a billions of dollars in profit now. That
that much?
Have to go to the IRS. That's what I heard. Plural billions.
Wow.
So I mean, you got to think of 1,000 Bitcoins, which isn't a whole lot. 1,000 times 37,000, which is about the current rate right now. So 40,000 times 1,000. Just 1,000 Bitcoins. You're into the billion. So it doesn't take much nowadays at 37,000 a coin.
Sure.
And so I'm kind of I'll have to kind of, but that really woke me up. I was like, okay. The other thing, Venmo got hacked, so people should. Venmo either got hacked or people were somebody got into Venmo and got into people's bank accounts and stole money. So
Oh,
Venmo is one of the more recent companies that got hit. And I had just opened up a Venmo account, so I'm like, oh no,
go
I
check
better
my account.
start. So watch your accounts, everybody. Watch your accounts, because if you have a Venmo account, you may want to change your password. So yeah, this mining couple, they got pinched. You can't outrun. Now maybe if they decide to move to China, they could have probably but yeah, where do you go when you're stealing billions of dollars? And but yeah, the one part of that story is nobody said, oh yeah, he stole my money, stole my coin. So somehow maybe they're just not, I don't know, they got into the blockchain, and that's how they caught him too. The government was tracking these transactions in the blockchain, and
Oh,
they
wow.
they caught him. Yeah. So hey, blockchain is out there. You can get in and watch and look, and
Oh, you
you
can
know,
actually. Yeah, if you know how
yeah.
to do it, you can actually watch everything.
And the government is watching.
Oh, I'm
You
sure they
know,
are.
it just takes them forever to do anything about it. So yeah, that's one thing I caught this week. Was that I'm surprised it just kind of popped in my head, and I was like, oh yeah. Um, Yeah, my coins have been just dropping all week. Probably just because you know, we're, we're a little angry at our Eastern friends, not so much friends. This invasion from
Yeah,
Russia.
it's getting ugly over there. I tell you, I feel for all the
So
people that are
I
over
think
there right
I think
now.
that's why all the coins have been, I get on Facebook, and of course, everybody's just attack, attack, attack.
Yeah.
Our current leadership, and just going. I'm like, I almost like have to wonder: do we really do? Why do we need a dog in that fight?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do we really? I mean, sanctions. Okay, we'll do sanctions. Will it hurt us? Will it cost us? It could. Because we're going against China.
hmm
We you know, we're not enemies with, but we're I don't know. Do we really need a dog in that fight? Do we have to police our, countries that are on the other side of the planet, you know?
Uh,
And we have trade with these countries, and I don't understand why they need to invade. I guess they ran out of room. Oh, look at those guys. I don't know. I just
I,
like
I think that's part of it, and
they just ran out of room. Russia ran out of room. So
yeah, well, initially, I guess they were part of it, and I guess they're, I don't know, it's really
yeah,
hard to fathom and understand, what the thought
yeah,
process is on that.
yeah. And the problem is people on Facebook, they tend to think that they
Oh,
understand
yeah.
everything.
Oh, yeah, no.
And I'm like, but no, they're not understanding. They're just on the right and angry about the left. We
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
want them in power, so
Hey, Brett,
I have to
give me 2 minutes. I'll make something.
colossally disagree, and
Oh,
I
okay. Sorry.
I have to they have to colossally disagree because they're in a different political party here too. So it's a
Yeah.
bit of it's kind of a shit show. So, and it's
Oh, I
always
bet.
going to be.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
any other things you're into? You wanna chew on?
So, yeah, I can show you one other thing, and then we'll do this real
You
quick because I
showed
know we're
me
getting
concrete. You're
close.
going to show me Novatech?
I'll show you Novotech. Give me
All
a
right,
sec
let's talk about
here.
Novatech in our last. So, or do you want to save it for next week?
Um,
Oh, go ahead, pop in. We got time.
we'll pop it in for a
We'll,
sec, and then we'll maybe bring it up a little more in depth next week.
Yeah. I think my brother's fell asleep again. He woke up, for about 5 minutes, looks like 2 minutes. He woke up and he had to mention crypto.com, and then he probably passed out again. Bless his heart. He's on the couch, on his
We
phone
appreciate
watching
it,
our little
company.
webcast, and he just kind of like, I do that once in a while, watching TV, and I just pass out, fall asleep. I wake up, and I'm 5 episodes farther away
Yeah.
from what I started watching, and I go, "Oh crap! Now I got to go back.
Oh, now
I
he's
got to go
watching.
back and find out where I fell asleep." So my brother, he's gonna have to just back up the stream, and so because you don't want you to miss anything. He says I've been awake. So
So this is an opportunity I'm in currently.
Novatech.
It has a lot more than I'm even using. They do
No?
have forex trading. They have a trading platform. I haven't gotten into the trading platform yet. I may later, but I'm not right now.
Okay.
All I'm using it for personally is I'm allowing them to trade. So I'm entrusting them to trade. So obviously I have to have a level of trust there.
Okay.
And I'm using what's called a PAM account. And the PAM account is just basically, it's no different than you putting money in a stock trading account, letting them trade it. The general,
letting somebody else handle your money. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'll risk
Touch
a
my
portion
money.
of money for that. I don't, I won't consider myself to be too heavy into it, but it's about a 3% return, which is really not bad, and that's weekly, and it's compounded weekly.
Oh, 3%. So weekly. So that's
it's weekly.
So you're getting 3% of your money every week.
Yeah. Let's say
you add that up. That's a lot of percents.
Oh, yes, it is. Actually, I have, and we'll do this next week, but I have a calculator that I can kind of show you. And it's fantasy numbers. It's everything in ducks in a row.
That's 100. That's like in theory, that's like 150% return.
It's a pretty good return. Last year they did on average. Someone had ran all the numbers for last year, so this is past tense. And the monthly average was around 30%. And the daily average, or the weekly average, was in the 3% range. And sometimes they may have had a 2% day
return every month. You're collecting 30%. And how long you been in it?
Only a couple weeks so far. Now, remember when I first, obviously I'll keep reporting on this, but the first, I put it in on a Thursday and it pays out every Friday. So tomorrow I'll get paid. So nice. On Thursday I put in like $140 just to kind of test the wheels.
Right.
And I actually get paid like $1 something the next day. So that's almost more than you get in the bank account in an entire month. In a lot of cases, if you can
generate 30% return in a month,
I'll be very happy.
Put 1,000 in. That means you're making $300 a month. That's hard to chew.
Well, we'll see.
That's hard to chew.
I have put some additional money in, so I have $1,140.
In like 3 months, your money would double. In 3 months, your money would double.
6 months, I think, is the target.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that range. But I'll bring up the calculator next week when we have more time. And I'll just show some fan. Well, I mean,
they're using your money as
they are using money.
You are the bank. They're using your money, so they, in the thing, you buy low, sell high. If they're giving away 30% a month of this money that they don't have,
they gotta be making some good money.
Imagine what they're making on it.
Yeah. And
and what's the downside? You call them one day and they went dark.
Yeah.
We
can't say it hasn't happened.
Yeah. Some things I don't want to talk about next week. I kind of wanted to talk about this week. I totally spaced on, and it just flew out of my head. Damn it! That's twice tonight. Something just flew out of my head. Where is it? Something else. Damn it! I hate when that happens. But
I was gonna say, remind me, and we'll write it down this time.
Yeah, right. It's twice today. Just as I'm talking about it, we're gonna
get together and bullet like we were doing, before the end of the year. I think we need to get back to that. And it'll help us both because I've been busy. I'm not gonna make an excuse, but I've been busy. You've been busy. Prep time hasn't been as luxury as we usually like it to be.
We may not be doing a webcast next week. FYI, I've got a long webcast day next week, so we're setting up in the morning and then streaming in the evening. And I'm like, oh yeah, right in the middle. So I doubt we'll be next week.
No problem.
And other than that, I mean, yeah, I want to see more about Novatech because if and let's kind of vet them, or I know it's too late for you. You've already gotten in, but I want to figure out how we can vet them, and then I
Sure.
might, because 30%.
Well, what's interesting is like I put in the 1,000 more that got me up to
Yeah.
1140, and I put that in on a late Tuesday night. I mean, it was after 10 o'clock, so
Right.
basically it had roughly 2 days left in the day, and I think they cut the trading at a certain time because they have to be able to calculate all the numbers they're paying out for Friday.
Right.
So that week was literally the second week I hadn't added any numbers, but I had that entire 140 in for an entire week now. I got paid $4.41, which is still not bad.
In a week.
For a week for $140.
Yeah.
I put in
$140, but that times 4, if you do that consistently for a month, you're $12 out of a, simple math, you're almost 10%.
Which is not bad.
In a month.
But that's only, again, on a small amount.
It might be worth $100 investment. I think maybe it's something I might want to look at and just.
We'll talk about that.
$100 investment just to see if it doubles in a couple of months. Okay. And then, of course, incrementally that doubles, and that doubles. That's how you get to $1 million, So
definitely, we'll talk about it because the program is not without fees. This one does have fees, so the 100 would be too.
It'd be absorbed in fees.
It would be absorbed, but the number, the sweet spot seems to be 500, and that's
okay.
That's
well,
not
then
a huge,
we'll.
But anyhow, we'll see how the numbers go. So, but the money that I put in on Tuesday,
right,
paid out on Friday, and it paid like $19.
Right.
And that wasn't even a full week. Now I'm in there for a full week. I'm curious to see what I pull out of it this week. So we will see, and then I'll immediately invest it back in for the following week. I can get it to a point where maybe I can say, all right, it's actually pulling in enough money that I can pull some out every week.
Yeah.
Recoup my investment and then let it go. And that's kind of the goal.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to trust it for a little while.
Pull your money out and then let it like rabbits, just go in and multiply.
Just let it ride.
Okay. Well,
we'll talk more about that next week.
I think that's it for us then tonight. Yeah, so. Sorry, I ate up the evening ranting about my shopping mall excursion, but
I think shopping malls, again, we've talked about how I think they need to pivot. I definitely think
I think we're on the cusp of a major pivot. Because those people, they own the those companies, they own the profit, and until and unfortunately, they're signing these massive leases with these big companies, so they're not going away fast.
Before we go, real quick, I had heard that Fashion Square had approved a big renovation for the whole place. Now, that may be what they're in the middle of.
Maybe they're thinning it out so that they can go in and just redevelop, and that could be, that could be.
I heard about that. I don't know what the timeline was, but I had heard, because a friend of mine lives down that way, and he had mentioned that he had heard that it was approved.
Well, I know one person that has a store there now, so I'd be interested to know what they know.
Sure.
Because I'm sure he'd want to know. He has a photography studio in that mall, which is yeah. So okay, well, we'll keep it'll be my mall update.
There you go,
from the mall. And my brother's saying have a good night. Have a good night, Donnie. I will talk to you soon, or I'll talk at you soon. All right. I think we're done. I'm gonna try and find a way to get out of this. And all right, George, have a good night.
Everyone have a good night.
All right.